Chamber's most prestigious award is the John Adam Treutlen Award, named in honor of Georgia's first governor who arrived in colonial America as an indentured servant. He rose to become a wealthy merchant and landowner. He was a leader in Georgia during the American Revolution and helped write Georgia's first Constitution. In 1777, he was elected Georgia's first post-British governor. The first Treutlen Award was presented in 1986. The recipients of this award over the years are a truly distinguished group of outstanding community leaders and public servants. This year's recipient is no exception. I'd like to ask Lieutenant Colonel William Hitchens III to come forward. Lieutenant Colonel Hitchens is the Deputy Commissioner for the Georgia Department of Public Safety. A graduate of Effingham County High School, he began his career with the Georgia State Patrol as a cadet trooper in 1994. He still looks young to me. He graduated from Trooper School in 1995 and moved up through the ranks. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in middle grade education from Georgia Southern University in 1994. As a graduate of the Georgia Law Enforcement Command College, Lieutenant Colonel Hitchens holds a master's degree in public administration from Columbus State University. In June 2007, he graduated from the FBI National Academy. During the 1996 Olympic Games held in Atlanta, Lieutenant Colonel Hitchens was assigned to Centennial Park. He received a Meritorious Service Award for his actions prior to and immediately after the bombing in Centennial Park. Despite these many accomplishments, Lieutenant Colonel Hitchens may be best known locally as Billy Hitchens, the son of our distinguished State Representative Bill Hitchens and his wife Norma. And so, we have asked him to present the 2022 John Adam Treutlen Award this evening. Please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Colonel William Hitchens III.
Thank you, Dr. Since you do know who my father is, I will say this. I know some of y'all probably look at your watch. I will not talk. But it is my honor to be in front of you today to present such a prestigious award to someone I've looked up to my entire life. Many of you started a relationship with him at different stages of his professional career. Some of you may have met him as a young Marine when he was serving our country, fighting in Vietnam to uphold our foundations, rights, and beliefs. Some of you may have met him as a young or old state trooper when he was serving our state, keeping order, preventing our state from ascending into chaos. While others met him as a state representative when he was and still is serving his state, this county, and its citizenry. As you can see, there's been a constant theme in his life, and that has been a theme of service to others. As a young, impressionable boy, I saw his service to things greater than himself through his volunteering in his community. I saw the personal side of him. I will highlight just a few things that show this. He's always been a sports fan. He grew up as a young hurdler and basketball player. As the kids came along, he always volunteered to coach the team. I always remember him on the sidelines, either in a voluntary coach position or just as a parent trying to help. He was a guy that always waited around after practice to see what kids needed rides home, or he was on the phone prior to practice to see if he needed a ride to practice. He was always a guy that made sure everybody was taken care of. He volunteered through all four of their kids' sports years. And I must say, from only my teams that won won the championship. But after that, he then volunteered to coach the grandkids, so he has a long history of volunteer to coach in Effingham County. While I was in high school, he volunteered again, became the president of Effingham County Rebels Booster Club. He took that on, and we had a very good football team during that time, and we were able to do a lot of things with the sports program at Effingham County. Why am I saying all of this? Well, one thing I learned early on was when you decide to do something, get 100% in. Unfortunately, I learned this numerous times in high school when I asked him to prove some of my papers I wrote. After he got done with it, Walmart needed some more red pens, so Walmart put it on. I learned from him, you don't do something and not put forth all of your effort until it's completed and it's right. And I'll give you another example of this thing. This probably is a good thing since he's a state representative. I think he took this thing called the 10th Amendment to heart, where it says that powers aren't granted to the nation and the Constitution, they revert back to the state. So when I was in high school, I didn't do so well in class, and just got my driver's license. I was dating my wife, and not long after that, I found out my license was suspended. Apparently, it does not say in the code book that your father, as a state trooper, cannot suspend your license. And I was not allowed to drive for about 6 weeks. But as I said, you make sure you put forth the effort to get it right. That didn't happen again while I was in high school. I hope you all have seen the same type of commitment and dedication to improving Effingham County through his efforts as a state representative that I saw growing up. Whether it be trying to lobby for more money to improve the traffic issues, which we all know exist, secure money for more conference space, or just steer constituents to the right state agency to get the help that they need. But what I will tell you about him is if he takes on the project, he will do everything in his power to take it to fruition and see that it's successful. When I think of the John Adam Treutlen Award, it means service to country, county, and others. And it is very clear to me why this person was chosen to be this year's recipient. Ironically, presenting this award is a special event for my family in more than one way. My wife, she is a descendant of John Adam Treutlen. Can't tell you how many great-great-granddaughters she is, but she is a great-granddaughter of John Adam Treutlen. And tonight I'm honored to present this award to my father, Bill Hitchens. Congratulations.
Well, everybody knows me, scared that I'm going to talk for an hour. And John knows that last year we had a bill come up over in the House, it was the Speaker's bill, and it was over in the Senate, and it was my turn to get up and speak for a bill I had. It was 2 pages long, and the Speaker called me aside and said, "Bill, I know this is right in your league. We're not going to vote on your bill until they pass my bill over the Senate. So when you get up there, talk as long as you can about anything you can." Well, I had a 2-page bill, it was about 5 paragraphs, and I spoke for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm not going to do that tonight, and I tell you, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I had no inclination this was going to occur. In fact, I almost didn't come tonight. I tried to get a ticket before I left, and for some reason I thought that the IDA and the Chamber's office were still together. So before, we've been at the lake for about a week, and I went over to the IDA office and nobody was there to get a ticket. So when I came back, I got back from Atlanta last night at 8 o'clock after I left the lake. I had to spend 2 days in Atlanta taking care of government business, but I got home and I went to Rotary today, and I was talking to Ward Radford, and I said, where's the Chamber office now? He said, it's in the old Springfield Herald office. So I drove up there, and the door's locked, and their boxes stacked inside. It looked like they're moving. And I said, my God, I'm not going to get a ticket yet. And, so I walked over to the police department, and I said, where's the Chamber office today? And he said, I don't know. So I was about to give it up, and I walked back across the street, and our good executive director just happened to pull up at that time, and I said, is it too late to get a ticket to the event tonight? He said, we already got you a ticket, don't worry about it, just show up, and got one for your wife. I said, well, she's probably not coming, she's been under the weather a little bit. I had no idea, you know, I was a company officer in the military for 24 years, and when I turned around, I was talking to somebody, and I saw my son here, and then I looked around and saw my wife and my daughter-in-law. I said, something's up. And she was sitting on the couch and wasn't dressed when I left. For those of us husbands in here who know how long it takes sometimes, I thought that was probably an impossibility to get but I truly am honored, and, you know, I'm not, those of you who are new to the county, it used to be, it was the Salzburgers and then everybody else. And I'm not a Salzburger. My wife and I moved up here in 1969 from Savannah, and now that the county has changed, and it's probably half and half, I always say, I'm not a Salzburger, but 5 of my grandchildren are. So, so many people, and I see a lot about here today, have come to my age through the years and helped me, and two particularly, and not necessarily them per se, but their fathers. And Laurel, his father was the chairman of the county commission for years and years, and John Burns, daddy, was the vice chairman. And I had a great rapport with both of them, and I met Lamar through that in sports, and then I really didn't know John that well. I knew his older brother Joe for years and years, but you know, after I've had a great career. I tell people I've done a lot of things, and you read my resume, and my wife always says I look better on paper than I really am. But I just never dreamed of this, and you know, and I knew I really didn't even know Angie was direct descendant of John Adam Treutlen until we went over one day to the dedication when they restored the old courthouse, and my granddaughter sang the national anthem, and they introduced her and a couple more that were direct descendants of John Adam Treutlen, and I was just astounded because she never said anything. After that, every time we go to the Capitol pretty much, John Adam Treutlen's statue is right outside the governor's office, and we always go over and show all our family members that he was. And the funny thing about that, now, I read an article in the paper back during the Perdue administration that, I'm trying to think of his name now, Schwarzenberger, the governor, the movie star governor of California. There was an article in the paper that he was the first Austrian-born governor in the United States. And I told Governor Perdue, I said, that's not true. John Adam Treutlen was the first one. And he said, well, I'm getting ready to go to the Republican governor's conference, and I'll tell him that. So after he came back, I said, did you tell him? He said, yeah, I told him. I said, what did he say? He said, I'll arm wrestle you for it. Most of you know he was Mr. America, had arms big around as trees. So, and I'll cut it short. I could say a lot of things. I certainly I appreciate the county for welcoming me. You know, when I first ran for state representative, I really had to be talked into it. Ann Purcell had decided to retire. And Ann and I have been good friends for years, and she didn't live too far from me, and I knew her family from over in Glenville. And when I read the article in the Herald, I wanted to be nosy and find out what's going on, because I never thought Ann would leave. She's been there 18 years. And so I waited a little while to act like I was just kind of checking in on her. I was being nosy. And I called her and said, Ann, I just can't believe you're going to retire. And she said, well, she's 3 years older than me, and her husband, Dan's physician, he's 3 years older than her, he was retired. She said, we're just getting to the age where our kids are grown, they're all out on their own, we want to do something before we get too old. And I said, there were 3 guys running against her. I said, well, who should I vote for? She said, she had a long pause. She said, I'm going to vote for you, Bill. I said, I don't want any part of that. You know, I've enjoyed as Homeland Security Director, and I was Commissioner of Public Safety, and I've been around the legislature. I was assigned to Jimmy Carter, who was governor. And I've been around there for a long time, and I said, no, I don't want any part of that. I'm not going to do that. And she said, well, you ought to think about it. And And he said, Bill, Ann just called me and told me you were interested in her position. I said, Mr. Speaker, Ann has lied to you. He said, look, if you'll run, I'll come down there and I'll hold a fundraiser for you and I'll speak for you and I'll do everything I can to get you elected. And I thought about it for a while. Next day, the governor called me and essentially said the same thing. He didn't come down and speak for me, but he told me he would support me. And so I called Ann back, and I talked it over with my wife. You know, she always says she raised all her children because I was gallivanting all over the state. Called me a geographical pastor from time to time. But we talked it over, and she said, if you want to do it, give it a shot. So I ran. Two of the guys dropped out that were running. It was me and another guy. And I've been here ever since. And one of the real things, you know, I've been a state trooper for many years, and I probably gave half the people in Effingham County a ticket. I see a young lady back that's in Rotary with me. She introduced me at an awards banquet one night to her father. She said, you ever met my father? I said, no, I don't believe I have. And he looked at me kind of with a little snide look. He said, oh, yeah, we have. We met up on a high old hill there over about 30 years ago. One of the most expensive meetings I ever had. But, and I weighed that too, you know. I never got a complaint. I worked 43 years for the Department of Public Safety and Homeland Security. I never got a complaint, so I did my job, and you know, I always tried to act professionally. And when I was in the Marines, I got a few tickets, so I knew how it felt, and I tried to always smooth it over and be as friendly with it as I could. But I really appreciate the people in Effingham County. I represent Effingham, South Effingham, Pooler, Fort Wentworth, part of Garden City, and part of Savannah. But the majority of the votes for me come from Effingham County. I'm in an election again this time, and I noticed in the primary the lady that's running against me. I got 500 more votes in Chatham County than I did, but I got 3,500 more votes in Effingham County than she did. So I think that probably bodes well for the election. But you know, in politics, there's an old saying: you run as hard as you can, and you never take anything for granted because you never know what's going to happen. And several people that I thought were in good shape got beat in the primary. So I'm going to run hard, but I appreciate the support I've gotten through the years and all the friends I've made in the county. And I look out here, and I'm not going to go through names, but I see a lot of people who I've been involved with. And I know some of the people, and I've never said this, in Rotary, people are aggravated with me because, you know, I've been the state president of a couple organizations, and the president of JC's, the president of Booster Club. I've never shown any initiative in Rotary to be in charge of anything or be on the board, and I always use the excuse that I'm gone January, February, March for the legislature, but I think they think I'm kind of lazy and don't want to get too terribly involved. But that's not the case, and if I leave the legislature, I may take a different perspective. But, and I talk too long. But from the bottom of my heart, you know, I really appreciate it, and Dr. Witt, you know, she supported me. She invited me over to speak at the 50th anniversary of the hospital over there. And I didn't know why, but as it turned out, I was the only person there that was there the day they dedicated the hospital, 50 years prior. Truthfully, the hospital saved my son's life when he was about 3.5 years old, and I've never forgotten that. I think I said that day, but and she invited me to come speak at the 50th anniversary of the NAACP, and I really appreciate that. So, but I'll try and get out. So once again, thanks from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it, and that's all